Cup is about to get underway. Liam McGill poised and ready for this race. It's temperatures still rising. You're looking forward to this?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the end of the race once I can get out and cool down again. But no, we're looking forward to it. It managed to hold out in the last race there under the heat, so hopefully it should just be the same again.
Were you going full chat in the first race, or were you being a bit conservative?
Yeah, but I would say probably for the first 4 or 5 laps I was, and then after that I know I had to slow down because I seen the temperature coming up a little bit. So. Yeah.
And even though you were doing that, you're still 1.5 seconds quicker than anybody else.
Well, that's good. But I don't know. I think this one might be a little bit more tricky, but we'll see.
Yeah, just getting off the line is the key here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Cheers. And let's have a quick chat to Stephen Gray, who was leading the championship ahead of Liam by 30 points. He's closed the gap a bit on you, hasn't
he? He has. He was exceptionally fast in that last race. He was really struggling couldn't keep up with him, to be honest. So, yeah, hopefully they can find a bit more speed in this race out, but I have a funny feeling he's going to disappear into the distance again.
Yeah. 1.5 seconds quicker he was in that last race. What can you do to close that?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I did have a few issues with the gearbox, but I don't even think that would have made much of a difference, to be honest. He just had some pace. I mean, I was considerably slower than I was in qualifying as well, so I don't know whether it was just the heat or something or whatever, but we'll try again, I suppose.
Yeah. So in your mind, were you being conservative with the car, were you?
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't go out my way to be that way, but I know I'm protecting a lead in the championship, but I did expect myself to be closer to him. But, yeah, let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, another 20 minutes ahead of you in the sun. Good luck.
I'll get cooked alive, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. Okay, so that is the championship leader, Stephen Gray, second on the grid, poised to jump Liam McGill on the start grid. But let's have a look at Brodie Ord. You enjoyed that first race?
Yeah, it was very hot though, so a lot of managing going on.
So what have you learned? Obviously the heat, you've got to control the car, you've got to manage the car. What's the game plan going into race 2?
Again, it's just trying to keep the brakes throughout the race. The pedal goes very, very soft with the heat, so it's just trying to manage them and keep them sort of in a good little window to stop you, basically. And
what about the tyres?
Tyres, I didn't actually find that bad, but I think...
You're not driving hard enough then?
Yeah. No, the track wears them quite evenly. So, yeah, but again, managing them, trying to keep them in the perfect window in the heat.
Another podium on the hands?
Hopefully.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes. We might as well do the whole grid, considering... let's have a look if the podium is here for the C1 race. No, nobody's here just yet, so let's continue with Mr. Preedy. How are you feeling?
Not too bad, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, race 1 wasn't too bad.
No, it was a good start, yeah. Pretty good start. I got up into second at one point, but I wasn't really fighting the cup cars really, so just wanted to keep Lon Murray behind me kind of thing. So.
All right, is that a game plan again?
Yeah, just try and stay the same, I guess.
Make the ST as wide as it can.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's hard to overtake here, so should be.
Yeah, it's very tight track. It's built for bikes, obviously, so it's not suited for cars when it's for overtaking. So, what's the plan then? So, have you got a trick up your sleeve around? A lot of people go for Charlie's.
Yeah, I'm just going to get a good start, I think, hopefully. Yeah, and just make my car as wide as possible if he's on the pace as well, kind of thing. So, which he was catching me towards the end of the race on the last one. So, yeah.
Good luck.
Yes, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's speak to his rival then, Mr. Murray. Here we are again.
How are we doing?
Yeah, he's concerned about you getting past him.
He doesn't need to be, because I had a horrendous start and it took me about half the race to try and remember how to drive again. But But yeah, it's quite tough out there. I mean, the heat really is playing havoc with the tyres, and just a case of trying to manage that. And there's a risk of over driving these things, and so rather than going faster, you end up going slower. So it's just kind of tried to keep it calm and try and be smooth. And yeah, that's the plan anyway for this race.
So the main thing is getting a clean start, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's my Achilles heel. It's either I get a great start or it's a terrible one. There's no in between. So hopefully we'll get it sussed this one.
All right, well, good luck.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. And who we got next to him? Mr. Backley again, Mr. Crookshank. So let's get into Mr. Blackley.
Hi there.
You're looking focused. You're looking keen.
Yeah, keen. Didn't work out quite the plan in race 1 right off, a bit of power steering issue, so we've hopefully got that fixed this time, so we'll see how we go this time, So, yep.
So your arms are like the Hulk now, are they?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it, indeed. Yeah, we'll see how we go, so hopefully all going well.
Yeah, what's the plan for the start?
I got a good start the last time, to be quite honest with you. I managed to get in front of Murray in the start, so hopefully we can do that again. If we get a good start, we'll be jamming, so brilliant.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, indeed. That's it.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Yes, and let's speak to somebody we've not spoken to so far. Can we just dive in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody warm, isn't it?
Damn right it is. Yep.
No air conditioning.
No.
So
Oh, we're off.
we're off. Right, okay, well, the Fiestas are about to go on track. I think we've got a podium that we could go to. But for now, I'll hand you over to Lewis in the commentary box. He'll take you through the grid and all the action.
So the cars are just heading out for the Scottish ST Cup Race 2. So we're just waiting for the cars to head out and for their final race of the weekend, and what has been a scorching weekend for them. And even yesterday, whenever they were practicing out on track, it was boiling for them, but it was nothing compared to today. So the cars just heading out. Of course, since we use the top pit lane here at Cadwell Park, it's only a quarter of a lap that they actually have to go around before they head onto the grid before the warm-up lap. So their out lap is very, very short. It's only a quarter of a lap. So these drivers only really getting one real opportunity to warm up their brakes and their tyres and their minds, because it's been quite a while since the ST guys were out on the circuit. So, of course, a couple of races still after this, so stay with us. Thanks if you're just joining us. My name is Lewis Ray. I'll be taking you through today's action, and I'll have Ant down in the paddock and down in the pit lane getting all the latest news. But we're just seeing pictures of the cars waiting to go out on their warm-up lap. Of course, it's not that big of a grid here in the ST Championship, in the ST Cup, but it still produces some great racing. But we've seen in race 1 that Miguel just stormed off with the victory. So all eyes are going to be on Stephen Gray to see if Stephen Gray can try and catch up to Liam Miguel. And if not, will Brody Orr finally be able to battle Stephen Gray? Because we've seen it on the lateral stages of race 1 that Brody Orr was catching up and Brody Orr was gaining on Stephen Gray. So now it's just waiting to see what is going to happen. We wait for these guys to head out with the 30-second board about to get raised into the air. There's the 30-second board just by our SMRC logo, and it's up in the air. All drivers will have seen that, and they will know that it is almost time to head out in their warm-up lap before we go racing for the final time in the Scottish SD Cup. But of course, now the green flags wave. Cars are away on circuit to get their tyres and their brakes fully warm. You can see Miguel just already being aggressive with the car, just trying to get heat into the tyres as quickly as possible, and then just heat into the brakes as quickly as possible, and giving the moments a chance to breathe before you go out full attack on them for 20 minutes, because we heard from some of the drivers there that the brake pedal does become slightly softer while they're waiting and while they're driving around. So these drivers, they're going to be pretty exhausted by the end of this race. It's been a long, long day for them. Even whenever they're not driving, they will be getting warm and they will be getting somewhat of heat exhaustion. And in this car, it's going to be probably an extra 10, 15 degrees from what it would be outside, so it's so warm, and not including the fire suit and the helmet that they're in. You see naturally, while we're interviewing some of the drivers, that their faces were actually red inside of the car. It's that warm, and it's time to go racing. You can see obviously the lovely greenery and the lovely wildlife that we have around the Cadwell Park circuit. Birds all around the circuit enjoying the racing, just as I hope you are at home. This is the SMRC Championship that's sponsored by Reese Motorsport Insurance, and this Scottish ST Cup is a championship that, of course, we look fondly upon in Scotland because it's produced some great drivers, including three-time BTCC driver and three-time BTCC champion Gordon Shedden from Scotland, racing in the Scottish Championship, also known as Flash, and spending quite a lot of time at Knockhill Racing Circuit, still working for them, of course, in the spare time that he has off from the British Touring Cars. So it's great to see, obviously, some involvement, and I'm sure he'll still be watching this series, especially whenever they come up to Knockhill. But, of course, we're not at Knockhill this weekend. We're here at Cadwell Park for the away round for round 4 of the SMRC Car Racing Championship. And what a round it's been so far. It's been great conditions all weekend. And, well, we couldn't really ask for better. I mean, straight from the get-go, it's just been on it. And it's been close racing, although it is so tricky for every single driver out there. They're all dealing with it, and they're all just getting on with it and realising, you know, sometimes this is what's happened in the UK. We do occasionally get a heat wave now and then, and luckily enough it's happened on a weekend like this, which is great for all the fans and spectators, but for these drivers, they will be struggling for these 20 minutes. But now we're waiting, and there's the marshals holding the flags, informing the drivers where the front row of the grid will be. The marshals, of course, doing a great job all weekend in these hot conditions, wearing overalls. Of course, they can't even get a tan themselves, so it's great for the marshals to be able to, help out at the circuit. And now we wait for the cars to line up on the grid before we get underway. For the race starts now. 5-second board is up in the air. All drivers will have seen that. It's going to be Lee Miguel starting from pole position. We wait for the lights to be on. Lights are on. And lights are off. There's quite a long hold there from the Scottish ST Cup. And now they're away and storming down to the first corner. It's going to be Liam Miguel. But Liam Miguel leads the way. But can Stephen Gray do anything? If Stephen Gray's going to do anything, he needs to do it fast. But it's Kieran Preedy already into third place. So now Brodier getting pushed down to fourth. That is not what Brodier would have wanted. He wanted straight away to get on the back of Stephen Gray because he knows that he goes good during the late race pace. So now it's time. You can see at the back, actually, they're all bunched up, and that is Warren Murray just at the lead of that group, and in fourth place actually right now, but has a train of cars behind them, and just you can see straight away it's Liam Miguel out up front once again. But it's not going to be easy because it looks like Stephen Gray is trying to go with Liam Miguel. He's trying maybe something different. Maybe race one he was quite conservative, but with these hotter conditions, over 24 degrees right now at Cadwell Park, these hotter conditions, it's just able to push from that one and have confidence in these tires and just in his car, because obviously mechanical grip is such a big thing, not just the car. But right now it's 26 degrees at Cadwell Park. It is very, very hot for these drivers. It's going to be about 35, maybe even closer to 40 degrees inside their car right now. That's why some of them racing with the windows open optionally. But there is some lovely shots of them coming over the mountain with people watching in the background with their camp chairs out, with a perfect view of the cars as they rise. Cadwell Park, such a great track for you to watch as a spectator, not just at the mountain, but all around the track. You get up close and personal with these cars and be able to get to see really how they tackle this circuit, because it's a circuit which has quite a lot of lines. And there is Kieran Preedy that actually looks like he's dropped down the order there quite significantly all the way to the back of the grid. So I do not know what's happened to Kieran Preedy, but whatever has happened, it's been an absolute disaster for him as he's down from third place all the way to 8th. So now you can just see spectators once again watching from a great vantage point. But currently the race stands as Liam Miguel leading the way of Stephen Gray just 1.6 seconds behind him. Brodier finally in that third position, with Lauren Murray in fourth, as we see the triple free car of Ian Blackley in 5th place, going onto the grass and trying to defend his position from Andrew Mackey, as Andrew Mackey tries to dive down the inside and tries to make a move. They're side by side at Park Corner, and you can just see pushing onto the grass, and Ian Blackley has now dropped 2 positions due to the fact that Andrew Mackey just shown no sympathy, pushed him right out to the grass, and now he's pushed all the way back to what is going to be 7th place. So now Kieran Preedy will be smelling blood. Kieran Preedy will be wanting to get past Ian Blackley, but that right now, it's going to make the grid even closer and even bunched up at this battle right now. This battle of 4 cars all bunched up at the back of the fields right now, producing some great racing. So it's great to see. It's great for the spectators all around the circuit to have these classes and these cars here. 4 classes this weekend and the SMRC Championship. So it's great to have so many entries considering we're quite far away from home. But Liam McGill is at his home in first position right now from Stephen Gray. 1.7 seconds at the line last time round, but what will it be now? Stephen Gray, can he bridge the gap? Can he stay consistent? Last time round, it was actually, it's 2.7 seconds now, so he's just trying his hardest, Stephen Gray, but he just needs to find something new somewhere else, maybe even watching Liam McGill, as I'm sure he is, from the distance, and just trying to see maybe a braking market he's taken differently or a line that he's taken differently, because Liam McGill, pace is phenomenal. He's in the lead, he controlled all last race, and it's looking like he's trying to do the same this time round with Stephen Gray just behind. But Brodier, what a performance it's been so far, and Brodier, we've seen it last race. Although he's 2.2 seconds back from Stephen Gray, later on in the race, we do see him bunch up to Stephen Gray, whether that be Stephen Gray not having the late race pace or Brodier just having excellent late race pace. We're just going to have to wait and see. And the cars almost looking identical, with the only way to tell them apart is Stephen Gray's car having bright pink wheels. But as you can see, coming for your picture, the car that did get pushed onto the grass, Ian Blackley, just trying to recover some positions and trying to recover some points, but Kieran Preedy is just on his tail. He's just trying to find any way past this way, that way, but he cannot find it, and it looks like actually coming out of Mansfield that Kieran Preedy did have a slightly better drive, but he's still too far back to make any kind of move as we head round to the mountain section of the course. At number 21, Kieran Preedy hot on Ian Blackley's tail. As we come up the rise, we come round to what is Hall Bend for turn 11, 12, 13 and 14. It's such a technical part of the track, and it's such a hard place to track to make a move. Whether you're in a car or even a motorbike, it's a corner that is so difficult to make a move. But it's so easy to lose time and get past and make a mistake, which could potentially end your race. But it's Liam McGill who leads the way still. Fastest lap of the race with a 1:46.597 is his fastest lap and the fastest lap of the race, and that time round he's still in the 46s, just 4 tenths slower, but still faster than anyone else out in the circuit. So right now, similar to race 1, Liam McGill just in dominant fashion, just trying to control the race as best as he can. As now we see him coming through the back section of the circuit, through Park. You can see still the birds on the inside of the circuit. These Ford Scottish ST Cup cars are quite loud, so the brave birds sitting at the inside of the corner, but getting one of the best views of the circuit. But there he is, Stephen Gray, trying to still catch up. It's 3.2 seconds now, the gap, but he has managed to extend the gap between him and Brodier. Brodier now 4.1 seconds back, so it's all going to be late race, because 6 minutes into this race, 14 minutes left, so still plenty of action left and plenty of time for Brodier to make up that 10 minutes loss. And you've seen there Liam McGill pushing on 2 wheels at the mountain section there, and you've seen the complete difference between him and Stephen Gray. Stephen Gray just taking a far more conservative line, 4 wheels still on the ground as it probably should be, but Liam McGill, he doesn't care. He's getting the lap times, he's leading the race in such a dominant fashion. You can just see, although he's leading, he doesn't care, he's still pushing on. What will the gap be this time round? Last time round, it was 3.2 seconds. We await for them to cut the timing beam, and we wait to see what lap times they are doing. Liam McGill, that time round in the 47s, but this time extending the lead by just 1/10 of a second over Stephen Gray. So maybe Liam McGill might be getting a bit tired. Maybe the brake pedal might be a bit softer, but it should be the same for about all these drivers, as this class is so close, because these cars are so, like, pretty much identical race cars. These are 2-litre Duratec powers. As we see, it looks like There's an issue for Stephen Gray. He's pulling off the road. What a disaster for the man sitting in second place as he pulls off the road. He trudges along the grass to the tyre wall to retire his car and retire from the race. And that's going to put Brodie Orr into second place right now. But Stephen Gray, that's not what we would have wanted. You can just see how slow he's going right now, taking the car to a stop at a safe position away from the racetrack. So it's great to see him using his head. But now this is a real battle now. So Brodie Orr is now into second place with Lauren Murray in third. So Lauren Murray right hot on the tails and in the podium positions. And now even Andrew Mackey can just smell a podium. He's in fourth place right now with Peter Cruikshank behind them. Still a bit of a gap between Peter Cruikshank, 2.8 seconds between Peter Cruikshank and Andrew Mackey. And Kieran Preedy still in that 8th position, but will now be promoted to 7th place after that issue. And after that mistake that cost him to go all the way down to last position in 8th. But here we have the number 35 of Andrew Mackey, just trying to bridge a gap. You can see sitting at the side of the road, Stephen Gray, very, very disappointed. You can see just how red his face is, just how sweaty he is after only doing 9 minutes inside the car. We're not even halfway yet, so these drivers will be struggling towards the lateral stages of the race as we come across towards the line to then go on to lap 6 of the race. You can see now he's just sitting trying to enjoy the race in his black overalls, so it's not going to help him, but best view in the house for him. But Liam McGill once again leads the way by now 10 seconds over Brodie Orr, because obviously that gap that he had over Stephen Gray is no longer there. So now Brodie Orr is 10 seconds behind, but all eyes are on this battle right here. Lauren Murray just behind Brodie Orr in third position. Andrew Mackey just behind them as well. So it's a second, third and fourth in your picture right now. Nothing between them. It looks like this battle is going to be staying on for the whole race as we are halfway through the race. We're 10 minutes in, 10 minutes left to go. It's really at a point now where the pedal starts getting a bit softer. Maybe tyres might start to go off. They may have been using these tyres all day and maybe even some of yesterday, so the tyres might be starting to go off. Obviously though, these Yokohama tyres are all identical Yokohama tyres, so it's great to see them still holding up and still able to put in these amazing lap times. But we see them come out of Mansfield towards the mountain section, and up the mountain they will go once again. Lap 6 in this race, it's Liam McGill who still leads the way, 10.2 seconds last time round, and Lauren Murray though, there they are on your screen, number 5, making the way through Halls Bend, and Halls Bend flicking the car from right to left, getting that rear end out, getting that rear end squirming about, and really just on the ninth edge of what should be of these Ford ST cars. And it really shows off their talent. It shows how committed and how much faith they have in their car, because the mechanical grip in these cars is great. And of course, in this class, they can also have freeway adjustable dampers, which means they can fully set up the car for their own liking and get fully suited, which yesterday, the Fords out on track for yesterday's testing, that would be most of their track time would just be spent to get comfortable for these races, because a comfortable driver is a fast driver. And you can just see, especially for this section here, leaning on the side of the tyre for so long, leaning on one side of the tyres, on the left-hand side of the tyres, they turn right. Just having faith in the car, having faith that it's going to stick, having faith in your mechanics that have done everything right. It is what motorsport is about. It's a team sport. Although it's just the driver out there, the whole team will be watching on from pit lane right now, cheering them on with the pit boards out as we come round. Such a technical and fast part of the track. You can see, once again, dust up in the air from the drivers just tapping the grass, and it's such a close battle actually that we have going on for Peter Cruikshank and Kieran Preedy right now. And Kieran Preedy made up some time, obviously was down in 8th, but managed to get past Ian Blackley, which has significantly dropped back actually, so maybe some sort of issue or mistake from Ian Blackley. But now it is the battle for 5th place, so it's really going to be what is going to be of these two cars, who's going to get better of them. 12 minutes in the race, 8 minutes to go, still all to play for across the field, as Liam McGill leads the way by 9.8 seconds as they come across the line to go round for another time, and that gap will most likely be widened once again. But this is motorsport, anything can happen. This is the SMRC If you're just joining us, thanks for joining us. My name is Lewis Ray. I'm taking you through today's action. And right now you're watching the Scottish ST Cup Race 2, and you're seeing an incredible battle between Peter Cruikshank and Kieran Preedy for 5th position, the top 5, the position that really matters. And Ian Blackley is still going around the circuit. You can just see him in the background of your picture, coming out the shadows, coming out the final corner as they come across the time beam. And once again, all the drivers now in the 48-second mark, even including the race leader, which is high 47s. So now the car's really taking toll with these hot conditions. Brake pedal becoming slightly soft, and maybe tires just starting to give way a little bit. But now, and maybe even drivers starting to get a bit tired, but now it's at the point where you want to bring it home. You're not far away, you're over the halfway point in the race, and we can see now it looks like Kieran Preedy's going to try to go around the outside at Park Corner. Will he make it work? It's going to be a big move he's going to try, or maybe now just try and get the undercut, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it work on Peter Cruikshank. Peter Cruikshank looking like he's just got the car put exactly where he wants it, showing no way past at all to Kieran Preedy. So now Kieran Preedy in that red Ford Focus ST, in that Ford Focus ST Cup car, just trying to find any way past. But it's one thing catching someone, it's another thing passing them, especially around this Cadwell Park. Although these Scottish ST Cup cars are not wide cars, not too wide cars, it's not our widest class that we have here at the SMRC, it's still a class that you need to properly be committed and make your move early and show your front wheels early, so then you're able just to pull off that move. Because if you can just run them wide, it can run them off and run them wide and mess up their drive for another 3 or 4 corners. But here you can see toe-to-toe are the two drivers for 5th place right now. Peter Cruikshank still in 5th place, number 61 car, the orange and blue livery, with just behind Kieran Preedy in that red colour car in the 21. But here we have up front the battle for 3rd position is still raging on with Lorne Murray and Andrew Mackey, but Brodie Orr right now in 2nd position with just 5 minutes to go in this race. The race is really coming down now, and it's at the point where the drivers, they're going to be tired. They know this is the last race. They'll be almost counting down the laps. With these conditions, with it being so hot inside their car, they'll be looking forward to getting out of the car, having some nice cold water and enjoying themselves for the rest of the night before they all head home back up to Scotland. Or obviously we do have some guest drivers, some local drivers, which is great to see. Great to give them also the opportunity to show themselves on the SMRC front. But here we have the number 35 of Andrew Mackay. Andrew Mackey still trying to catch up to Lauren Murray, but Lauren Murray in that silver ST just putting it in perfectly to Mansfield, hitting the apex, using all the exit curb almost onto the grass, but then luckily rejoining just in time, so she didn't lose any time and any drive. But now Ian Blackley still in 7th position right now. He's 6.3 seconds back from Kieran Preedy, who I don't actually know what happened to Ian Blackley, but he made some kind of mistake dropping all the way back there. He was in about 5th position. But right now, Liam McGill still leading the way. It's now 11.4 seconds as we see him come across the line to then set another lap and another lap that was in the 47s. So Liam McGill is just putting in laps and putting in consistent laps, which is what we love to see, is just, even in these conditions, he set the fast laps early on, as we've seen in the first race, and now he's just easing it off a little, bringing it home. But you can see, though, he's right out to the curb, almost onto the grass, and visibly it looks like he's pushing still, but the lap time's certainly slower. May speed down to the car, getting tired, him getting more tired. But here's the battle still raging on with Peter Cruikshank and Kieran Preedy as we return back to the race leader. 12.3 seconds now this time round, with 3 minutes to go in this race. So just a couple of laps left for these guys, and it's going to be an intense lap or two for Liam McGill, because Liam McGill, he just needs to bring it home. He just needs to hope he has no issues, no mechanicals, no mistakes. Tail him cleanly, goes out of Mansfield. Of course, you'll see the chicane on the right-hand side covered off by cones. We do not use that here at the SMRC meetings here at Cadwell Park. But although we don't use it, it still produces some great racing, as you can make some great overtaking opportunities. And there is Stephen Gray, still outside of the track, still maybe getting a bit of a suntan. That's the only part that he can take that's the only good thing you can take away from this race. DNFN, valuable championship points are lost. And not he the wanted, of course, retiring on lap 4. And now we're on lap 9, about to head on to lap 10 for what will be the second final lap, I believe. He should get another lap at this, unless the last lap board is out for him. We're just going to have to wait and see as he comes across the line. Yeah, he's going to get another lap of this. Liam Miguel gets this lap and then one. So it's really more opportunities for him just to build up his gap and just bring it home. But now, just less than 2 minutes left in this race, and it's Brody Orr still in that second position and still working behind. 13.7 seconds behind now, and Lauren Murray rounding off that podium position. Lauren Murray would be delighted to get a podium, but one person who wants to take that off them is Andrew Mackey, and Andrew Mackey would love that podium position. This is the opportunity to have it, as Stephen Gray is out of the race, so one less podium contender to deal with, and one less lap to be able to do it. But here is the race leader once again, making his way pinpoint perfectly. The car is just doing everything he says. You can see the rear end slightly coming out of the line there, but nothing too major. He has it in complete control. That's sometimes how you get these cars turned, just by using almost the rear end and stamping on the brakes and using the rear brakes a bit power, just to get the car turned, just to get the rear end out of alignment, and then get the car bit into the corner. As soon as it bites, then boom, you're in the corner, and then he flicks it round to the right, up the crest and over the mountain, as the bright ominous green Miguel car comes through the mountain section, through Hall Bend, and then towards turn 15 at the hairpin. You can just see now more cars making their way through the mountain section, as Miguel then comes through for the second final time, as he comes out the final corner to go into the final lap of the race, on the final race of the weekend for the Scottish ST Cup. And now it's Liam Miguel who, of course, leads the way in a dominant fashion. There is third place right now, though Lauren Murray getting closely followed by Andrew Mackey. But now, last lap time, last lap flag is out, and now it is Liam Miguel who leads the way. You can just see the lead that he has is insane. It's 15.1 seconds as he comes onto the back straight, as the other guys go into the first corner. But very, very difficult race because of the conditions for these drivers, and it was one, just like race 1, that has been shown that Liam Miguel's true form. But the battle is still going on between Peter Cruikshank and Kieran Preedy for that 5th position. But there's your race leader, Liam Miguel, just making his way through, just getting round and just trying to get it home through Crest Curve, turn 5, down to Gooseneck, turn 6 and 7, and then making his way through down to Mansfield, trying not to lock up the inside brakes. It's so easy to do, and once you do that, we've seen it earlier on today, when you run slightly wide at Mansfield, you lose so much drive towards the mountain section. You just get overtaken and eaten basically at the mountain. So now it's at the point where Liam Miguel's just trying to bring it home. As the battle still going on for 5th place on this final lap between Peter Cruikshank, but your leader comes across the mountain for the final time of the weekend and comes through Hall Bend, just getting it absolute perfect through over the shadows of the trees. 2 corners left, 2 corners to manoeuvre. It's going to be Liam Miguel who bounces his way for the curve and bounces his way inside his seat to win the race. He'll be delighted with that second race win in race 2 of the Scottish ST Cup. The checker flag will be waiting, it will be waving for Liam Miguel, and what a commanding victory that was. Just like race 1, it was dominance from him, and just like race 1, it has been a great race, and Brody Orr should come home in 2nd place. There he is, and there is Lauren Murray in 3rd, and just behind is Andrew Mackey, just the top, 2nd to 4th, nothing between them. But there's that battle for 5th place still happening between Peter Cruikshank and Kieran Preedy for 5th and 6th. It looks like it's going to be Peter Cruikshank who gets the better of him, and yes it is, coming home in 5th place with Kieran Preedy in 6th. We're waiting for Ian Blackley to come across the line to be the final car to take the checker flag. Checker flag's waving, so he must be close. There he is right here, and takes the checker flag to come home in 7th place. And of course, Stephen Gray DNF'd in that race. But wow, once again, Liam Miguel just dominant like straight away, and it's great to see for number 62, the bright green car, the bright green ST, bright green helmet. He loves color green. It has Miguel on the side of the car. It's very, very easy to see, and it's very, very easy to see why he won that race, because he put in the fast lap straight away, and he just kept consistent in the 47s, which is so hard to do.